Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to episode 12 of Passive Aggressive Film Reviews. I'm Nathaniel Barrett Singh.
And I'm Richard Shittlebob.
Please, Richard, tell us about your week, if you would be so kind, sir.
Nathaniel?
Yes?
This is actually offensive, what you're doing.
Offensive? How?
Putting on a comedy Indian accent. If I did that, Nathanial, imagine your reaction.
I think I'd be laughing hysterically.
You wouldn't be laughing, you'd be calling me a twat.
To hear you with an Indian accent would be something of a breakthrough, Richard.
Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a dancing monkey who will just dance to your tune.
Think about it for next week.
Forget that. What was that about?
We all will be revealed.
Now, go on.
No, I don't want to tell you that.
You started it.
I have started.
You started on a really offensive note. I'm not going to continue unless you explain yourself.
Starting off by offending you is not a bad place to start. I asked you if you'd be so kind to tell us about your week. Would you like to continue, please?
Well, I've been struck by depression, Nathaniel.
Struck by depression?
Clinical.
Really?
Yep, my GP's confirmed it.
Well, that doesn't give me any pleasure, Richard. What's the cause?
Well, I think I've been hit by the loss of Yvonne. I think it's finally hit home.
Oh, a bit of a delayed reaction?
I think so.
Oh.
I think so. I think there was a lot of bravado.
Well, I have to say, I was somewhat surprised at, the word you used, bravado. I thought it would have had some kind of impact on you, so this is understandable.
I tried to power through it, and then of course, kind of having my nostrils filled with the musk of Helen.
Yes.
Help me.
That would be something of a help, yes.
And then of course I lost her as well.
Yes.
So it's been difficult. I've been sleeping 15 hours a day.
Crikey, that's not.
I've got nothing done. I've got nothing done.
Well, I'm genuinely sorry to hear that, Richard. It's sad news.
I had that opportunity to write for the Telegraph.
Yes.
I messed that up.
Well, that's okay. I mean, when you say you messed it up, I mean, can you elaborate? Did you have to?
I just missed it. I missed the appointment.
I missed the appointment. Oh, right.
I had a final interview. Formality from the way it had been explained to me.
Yeah.
And I slipped right through. The alarm went off. I knew that I had to get up.
Yeah.
I knew why. I knew how important it was. I knew it was something that I wanted to do.
Yes.
Couldn't be bothered to get out of bed.
Well, it might sound surprising, Richard, but you have my sympathy and my empathy.
I appreciate that, Nathaniel.
Depression is not a pleasant phenomenon.
I've never experienced it before. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was a pack of lies.
You thought it was an overblown figment of the imagination?
I thought it was just a label that people used to kind of excuse themselves.
Yeah.
Excuse themselves to allow them to live worthless, pointless lives, but no more. Now that I've tasted it, now that I've experienced it, albeit only for a few days. Yes.
Have you sought any medical advice?
Yeah, well, it was my GP. She told me that I was exhibiting all of the symptoms of depression. I partly blame you as well, Nathaniel.
Well, I'm not surprised at that accusation. Obviously, it's completely unjustified, but...
Well, she asked me whether I'd been taking drugs.
Yes.
And I said I had imbibed some cannabis. I explained the context of the... She said it's what's called a space cake. She seemed to know a surprising amount about it.
Well, she sounds like a worldly character.
Not appropriate for a doctor.
Not
to be talking about marijuana.
Well, maybe not. But even so, I mean, it displays a worldliness, which I don't mind seeing.
But she said that one of the side effects of cannabis is paranoia and clinical depression.
Well, if memory serves me correctly, Richard, I don't think it was the immediate reaction that you had. I seem to remember you falling asleep on the desk.
I momentarily put my head down, that's true.
And did you wake up paranoid then?
I've got the uncanny feeling that you're out to get me.
I'm not.
And that's increased week after week, I must say that.
That's a harsh accusation. I was just trying to open your mind, trying to chill you out a bit, Shittlebob, that's all.
It didn't work.
Well, clearly not.
It's tough, really, because I've got bugger all to talk about. Because one of the things that depression does is it saps you of energy and optimism. I felt alone. I felt isolated, bereft of hope or optimism.
Right.
Nathaniel, I was a man in solitude.
Well, it might sound like a bit of a cliche, Richard, but it's a cliche that rings true. At least you've acknowledged the problem.
I have. Yeah, you're quite right. I understand what was taking place, and my doctor's given me a prescription, some medication to assist. And one of the side effects that I've noticed is an inability to maintain an erection.
That figures.
Does it?
I think so. If you're kind of depressed, I wouldn't imagine that Harlem would be next on your list.
No, it's the medication that causes the erectile dysfunction.
Right. Have you had the need for an erection lately then?
Oh, it's still nice to see the old boy from time to time, isn't it?
Action appearance.
But the sensation's there.
Yes.
But nothing happens.
There's no blood rush.
There's nothing. It's lifeless. It's cold.
Have you tried encouraging the little fella?
Oh, well, as far as my religion will permit, I have, yes.
Well, your religion doesn't dictate to that degree, I don't think, Richard. You know, the kind of ramblings that you've been giving us over the past few weeks about the various film stars that have titillated you on screen.
I am not allowed to manually manipulate my member.
You're grinding yourself into the bed on occasion, Richard.
That's my chosen method.
That's your chosen method. And even that's borne no success for you?
Nothing. Not a twitch.
Well, I'm sure it's a temporary phase, Richard. It's nothing to be concerned about. Every man on the planet, I'd imagine, has suffered from erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives. Don't worry about it too much.
It's freezing cold, though, Nathaniel. That's the bit you're not quite grasping, I don't think.
You've got an ice-like sword.
It's blue.
Blue?
It looks like a dead thing.
I'll be rushing back to your GP and questioning the medication they've given you then.
It's not right, is it?
It doesn't sound completely correct, no. It doesn't sound altogether healthy.
Another medical issue that I discussed with the GP at the same time.
Yes.
Now, as you know, I suffered from terrible hemorrhoids a couple of weeks ago.
I remember.
And they seem to clear up, but a new problem has manifested.
Oh dear. What now?
It's connected. It's called an anal fissure.
An anal fissure? That's a tear in the rectal pipe.
Oh. Now, I've spoken to my GP, as I say, and she advised that it's not particularly sensible to squirt lemon juice up your own anus.
Well, I did think that at the time, but I bow to your superior knowledge.
So that's a lesson learnt.
Right.
And worryingly, this hasn't helped the depression, I'll tell you that much. She said I might have to go under the knife.
Oi, oi, oi.
I've got to stitch it up. You know, sometimes, well, I think more often than not, when a woman gives birth, there's a little bit of vaginal tearing.
Yes.
And they have to stitch it up.
Yes, indeed.
And it's called the husband stitch.
Right.
Yeah, the idea, because they don't necessarily have to stitch it, and the woman will be perfectly fine. But what it means is she'd have just this really baggy, gaping orifice.
Yes.
So it's called the husband stitch for obvious reasons.
Of course.
And it sounds like I might have to have something similar, but on my back pipe.
Well, if they're using words like stitches, I think that's cause for comfort, Richard, isn't it? I mean, a stitch isn't anything like, okay, it's not in the most pleasant of areas.
It's up my bottom.
Stitch at the end of the day, isn't it? Stitch.
It's up my bottom. It's here, but it's a stitch up my bottom.
I know, I'm just trying to comfort you here, man. I do see some kind of strange irony, I have to say, in this situation.
Really?
Well, given a man of your leanings, you say.
I don't lean any particular way, Nathaniel. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate.
You lean, specifically towards a female.
Not specifically.
Oh.
Solely.
Solely, okay, solely. Better choice of word, granted. So one incident of shoving a Jif lemon up your backside has caused fissure, and yet the amount of objects I've stuffed up my anal pipe, and not so much as a wart.
No.
Some sense of irony there, I believe.
Nothing at all.
Nope.
No blister.
Perhaps that just proves a healthy action it is. You're keeping, it's like a pipe cleaning sort of action.
You must have quite a diet. You must eat some. You must get through a box of muesli in no time at all.
Well, I do eat my fair share of muesli, but it's not just what comes out the pipe. It's obviously what goes up the pipe as well. It just keeps it nice and clean, nice and lubricated.
You're painting a particularly ghastly image there, Nathaniel.
I am trying, so I have to admit.
Yeah, I thought you were. Now, you remember I've been having some legal issues with that kind of man mutation called Ricky Gervais.
Yes, these legal issues again, yes.
Now, I've spoken to Mr. Gervais.
Really?
This week. One of the few moments I did manage to clamber out of my pit.
Yeah.
And he has deemed it the right course of action to drop the proceedings against me.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
But there is a condition to it.
Oh. I've
got to promote his upcoming BBC Two sitcom. So shut your face, Nathaniel. Here goes.
Okay. Listeners,
watch Life's Too Short, the new sitcom from the pen of the very funny Ricky Gervais, this Thursday at 9:30 on BBC Two. I've seen it already, and rest assured, you can expect it to be of the exact same quality as everything else he has ever done. Satisfied, Ricky?
Let's hope he is, Richard. Let's hope he is.
I've got nothing else to say, Nathaniel. I'm so bored of life. What's the fucking point?
Well,
if I died, Nathaniel, nothing would happen. I'd just be dead. I'd die, I'd rot, I'd end up a stinking cadaver in the ground, and nothing would change.
I do disagree with you, Richard. I don't think passive-aggressive film reviews is the right arena for such a philosophical discussion. Maybe we can just talk about this off air. But suffice to say, people would miss you, Richard. You don't doubt that.
I've seen no evidence of this.
I'll be one of them. Loathe me to say it. It takes even balls for me to say that, but I'd miss you, Richard.
Well, I'll thank you. And anybody that wants to get in touch, to offer words of comfort, or to, just tell, I don't know, you miserable bastards, the fact that we're doing this for free, once a week, for free, an hour's worth of entertainment, for free, why don't you get in touch and tell us that we're doing something positive and worthwhile, otherwise I might well just end it all. And you can do that at passiveaggressivefilmreviews@gmail.com, if you can be bothered.
Listeners, for once in my life, I find myself completely agreeing